Okay, so we will start today in a seated position. So find a comfortable seat. And this on Tuesdays and on Thursdays, it's a 60-minute class. So it will give us a little bit more time at the end to come into a relaxation pose. So since you're at home, please feel free to stay as long or as short as you want or as you need or as you can. But maybe make sure that you have a blanket so that in case you stay a little bit longer and it gets a bit chilly, that you can stay there for a little while. So as you know, I'm always open for feedback, for questions, for suggestions. It's very important that it's your practice, so that over the 30 days that we're going to be together, that you will hopefully develop a certain need, if I can call it like that, to do your own practice. So we're going to start in a comfortable seated position. So you can sit cross-legged, you can sit on your knees, you can sit on a chair by all means. You can also lay down, that's fine too. So we are going to connect a little bit with the breath to start. But today I want to focus on the theme of curiosity. So curiosity for our own body, our breath. Because sometimes we lose track and we are not really paying attention to our body. And sometimes we pay too much attention to our body. So it's finding that in between. And I found a little note from the Dalai Lama. And by the way, Dalai means ocean. So I was very happy when I learned that because I love the ocean. And he's saying, when you talk, you are only repeating what you already know. But if you listen, you may learn something new. So I want to bring this back to the curiosity of our own body. So sometimes we just do stuff in yoga, and I'm talking yoga for this purpose. So sometimes we just do our movements and we like this pose and we dislike this pose. So we already go into the pose with a certain preconceived mind. But if we change it around and we listen to our body, maybe something new can be discovered. So by example, a pose that you don't like so much might suddenly give you, that's interesting. And that's might make you like it a little bit more. So let's just start. Place your hands on your thighs, or if you're lying down on your belly, you can place your hands on your belly. If you're lying down on your back, I'm sorry. On the belly is not so comfortable for breathing. So to start, keep your eyes open and focus on a point in front of you. It can be on the floor so that your gaze is a little bit down, or it can be straight in front of you. Just make sure it's a point that doesn't move. And focus with your whole mind on that point. So every single thought of your head should go to that point without specifically naming it, just really looking at it, focusing on it. And then when you're really concentrated on that point, and if it's comfortable, you can close your eyes. And then just observe the breath for a few moments without changing anything. Observe your body. Maybe you need to make some adjustment, but just know that we never arrive to the best position because nothing is permanent. So our body will change all the time. So if we make an adjustment, something else is going to move. So it's constantly in change. So we just want to maybe give a couple of breaths to find a comfortable seated position. And then take a deep breath in. Feel your spine lengthening. Maybe feel the crown of your head lifting. And then exhale. You can exhale through the mouth. Let it go without collapsing in your spine. So if you're lying down and you're taking that deep breath in, feel the belly rising, feel the chest rising. The spine will not so much move if you're lying down, but there's something's going to move in your body. The air is taking up space. And then again, exhaling. And then inhaling, long spine. This time you can press your hands into your thighs. And as you exhale, turn your head towards the right. So just a sideway, but if you want, you can open your eyes, but you can keep them closed as well. So it's just your neck that's moving. And then inhaling back to center, exhaling towards the left. So bring your attention inside. Listen to your body. Maybe you observe a difference between one side and the other side, and that's totally fine. Nobody's really symmetric. And then coming back to center. So if your eyes are still closed, you might want to just gently open them up, taking a breath in and keeping your shoulders where they are. We're going to exhale, bring the chin to the chest. And then inhale back up and exhale. So do this 2 more times. I like to just start slowly and eventually we're adding piece by piece of the body, connecting one part to the other. And then bring your head back up. This time, bring your hands behind your head, so where the skull and the cervical spine touch, it's the occipital. And then open your elbows. So we want to feel a little stretch in our shoulders, maybe in our chest. Watch out that you don't push the floating ribs too much forward. So you want to keep that length in your spine. And then exhale. Start to bring the chin to the chest, again, without rounding the spine, chin to chest, and bring the elbows closer to each other. And then inhale back up. And exhale back down. So you can really pull onto your head to open the cervical spine. Inhaling back up. And then last time, exhaling. Keeping the head down, the breathing might become a bit more difficult. So just be aware of that. Exhale, maybe bring the chin a little bit lower, bring the elbows a little bit closer. And then with your next inhale, come back up, and this time, rest your head into your hands. So no tension in the neck, in the front or in the back, just opening up, resting the head. So you're looking gently up, no stress in the eyes neither. And then release your arms. We're going to inhale, reach the right arm up, press your left hand down and come over. So just move to the side. We're going to sway a little bit from side to side, coming up and going to the other side. So if you're down onto the floor, just move your hands from side to side. See if you can maybe create a little bit of a stretch into your side body. If you decide to come up into a seated position in the meantime, you can do so. You can sit on your chair. And then coming back up. So we're going to do one more side stretch, lifting your arms up, turn towards your left side. So not all the way, but like diagonally 45 degrees. And then place your hands down. Now walk your right hand away. So walk it even more towards your left hand. So you should feel your shoulder blade, your right shoulder blade stretching. So we're diagonally to the left and opening the right side. Press your right hip into the floor. And then come on the fingertips for both hands, and now walk your hands all the way over to the right. So this movement will require a little bit of work into the core. Place your right hand down and continue walking your left hand towards your right hand. Take a breath in and a breath out. And then coming back to center. So walking the hands back and reach your hands forward. Don't lift into your hips. So you want to keep the hips heavy and you want to reach forward. So take into account we're still warming up and continue listening to your body. So what does your body have to tell you? And it's not just the physical body. Also, sometimes the mental body will be overwhelming. So then just focus on your physical body to get those thoughts that are mostly random out of focus. And then coming back to center. So we're going to come onto hands and knees now. So bring the hands underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. We're going to do a few rounds of cat and cow. So it's a pose that we do very often. So try to stay very present. Take a breath in, lift your tailbone, drop your belly button, roll the shoulders back, and then start to lengthen the neck and look forward. And as you exhale, tailbone goes down, belly button up, press into your hands, round your spine, chin to chest. Continue at the rhythm of your breath, staying connected with the breath. So if you're so focused on the breath that the movement stops, that's fine. Sometimes that happens, that this deep breathing, this almost feeling like your spine is a wave on the ocean rolling on and off the beach. You're so much in your imagination or of that wave and the breath that the body comes in at peace and stops moving. So let's do one more round here. And then coming back to neutral spine. Bringing the hands more to the front, the knees a little bit more to the back, and then come onto your plank. So maybe adjust the knees if you need to. So strong arms, fingers are wide. Take a breath in, and then exhale, push your hips back, lengthen the spine. So warming up the joints from the knees, the hips, the shoulders, the wrist, coming forward. With an inhale, don't collapse in your belly. Exhale. Inhale forward. And then exhale back. And now walk your hands back. Separate your knees as wide as your mat. Bring the big toes together. And press your hips back. We're not going to bring our forehead down. We're going to separate our fingers and walk the hands as wide as the mat. So my pinky is touching the edge of my mat. My thumbs are pointing towards each other. And I'm going to roll my shoulders out and push my hips back. So really widening that upper back. You might have a sensation that the chest is maybe closing off a little bit. So that's okay for now. We're really working on that sensation of the upper back. What is my upper back telling me? Can I talk? Can I listen to my upper back? Or is it just very neutral and I don't feel anything? If you don't feel that opening, see if you can press your thumb and your index down and then roll the inside of your elbows up towards the sky. So don't lift your thumb and index, continue pressing there, but roll the elbow towards the sky. Your shoulders are going to widen and you're going to create space between the shoulder blades. And then slowly coming back onto all fours. So wrists underneath the shoulders. If that's too much for your wrist, you can always come onto your fist, or you can always choose the option of the forearms. So from here, let's bring the left leg to the side. The knee is bent, the foot is flexed. So lots of straight corner between the foot, the lower leg, the upper leg, and then the hip. And see if you can hold your hip there. And then bring your knee towards your left elbow. And then bring your left knee towards your right knee. And then lift your left foot up. So keep the straight corners here. And then bring your knee out again. So we're moving a little bit into the hip. And don't hesitate to come on even on one forearm, maybe the left, if that feels good for you. So that can give extra support and less weight onto your left wrist. So opening up to the side, to the elbow, to the knee, and up, and keep it up now. So knee is bent, press your foot up. Watch out that you don't collapse in your lower back. So you want to keep your back straight or neutral, and for that you need to activate the core. Lift that left foot up a little bit more, working the back leg. So we're working our left back leg, left hamstrings are actually strengthening here. We do a lot of stretches for hamstrings, but here we're strengthening. And then come down. You can bring the knees together or separate them and push yourself back for a moment. So your choice to bring your head down, shake out your wrists. You know what you need to do. Listen to your body. And then come back up. And we're going to do the same on the left side. So lift your left knee, so straight corner. The knee is at the height of the hip. The foot is flexed, straight corners. So find that strength. It works into the hip stabilizers. We need that for stability. And then bring the knee down, up to the back, and then back to the side. And then to the elbow, right knee to right elbow. So your spine remains quite neutral in this movement. We're really moving into the hip socket. And then you can change direction. And again, you can come onto your left forearm for a little bit more stability. And then keep your leg up, straight corners, press your foot up. Don't collapse into your belly. So bring the pubic bone a little bit closer to your belly button. Your tailbone goes a little bit more down towards your knee, and then lift up. So it's possible you can't go that high. It's really depending on how your hip is built. And then slowly coming down. You should feel that in the back of your leg, and push yourself back for a child's pose, just a few breaths. And then very slowly walk your hands forward. Bring your knees a little bit more to the back and come onto your belly. So make a pillow with your hands. You can place your chin onto your pillow. So make sure you're comfortable here. If you need something softer on your mat, take a blanket, put it there. It's important to feel soft, to feel comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable, you're going to hold into your muscles and you're going to tense a lot. So from here, bend your right knee and then grab your right foot. If you can't reach your right foot, maybe you can reach your pants, or if you have a belt, put the belt around your foot and you can hold it there. So we are gonna stretch the quadriceps here. So if you can hold onto your foot, one hand, two hands, really depending on where you are in your body. Roll the shoulders back. So we're lifting up the chest, and then see if you can bend your elbows to bring the heel towards the bum. So this might all be way too much for you. So be where you are and then explore from there. We don't want to be dumped in the middle of the jungle where we don't know where we are. It's a little bit the same. Approach it gently. Eventually, the intention is to touch the heel towards the bum. Keeping the thigh onto the floor, feeling a nice stretch into the quads. If your heel is onto your bum and you don't feel anything into the quad, press your pubic bone down, tailbone to the back, and you'll feel that stretch. And then slowly release. And then you can bring your hands back under your chin. And then let's go to the other side. So left foot comes up, grab your foot. And again, one side can be very different than the other. Make sure you're not bent into the groin area. So you're not lifted there. See if you can relax down so that both your hips are on the floor, the hip bones in the front. And then you can grab one hand or two hands, press your pubic bone down, and pull your foot towards your bum. And then slowly release. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders and bend both knees, and then gently rock them from side to side. So if you want to have a little bit more relaxation in the lower back, you bring your hands on top of each other, forehead on your hands, and just move your legs from side to side. So windshield wiping. Always good to release a little bit in the lower back. And then coming back to center, place your feet down, untuck your toes. So the top of the feet is on the floor. Place your hands underneath your shoulders, roll the shoulders back. And then as you inhale, gently start to lift your chest, lift your head. Don't look forward. Keep your neck in line with your spine. Your lower back is working here. So lots of work in the lower back, strengthening that lower back, rolling the shoulders back, reaching the heart forward, and make sure you don't press your belly button down into the floor. So it's a low cobra. You can press the tops of your feet into the floor and see what it does. What does your body tell you? Does it like it, or is it too confused? Too many things happening. That's possible too. And that's okay. So just focus on one point then. And then slowly coming back down. So before we release the lower back again, we're going to go a little bit higher. So place your hands a little bit lower at the height of your chest. Roll the shoulders back, and now really press into your hands, but keep the elbows going back. Keep the heart reaching forward. Don't go too high. You don't want to feel pain or any uncomfortness in the lower back. You want to keep your pubic bone on the floor. So it's not about this. You don't want to have your shoulders forward. You want to have your shoulders back. And you can eventually even pull your mat back with your hands so you create a little bit more space into your lower back. And then slowly coming down, making that pillow with your hands, bending the knees, and windshield wiper release. Bring the legs back down, pressing your hands, and coming back into a tabletop. So be careful when you move from back bending, what we just been doing, to, again, a forward fold. So here, this is a very neutral position, and we're gonna open into the shoulder. So right hand underneath the right shoulder, reach left hand underneath your left shoulder, so it doesn't matter, but reach the other arm up. Make sure you don't collapse into your left shoulder. So reach up with your right arm. And then exhale, bring your right arm underneath the left. Reach as far as you can, but keep your hips where they are. So you don't want to move your whole body to the side. We are staying very centered, and we're going to come onto our right shoulder, right ear. If this is way too low for you, don't hesitate. Take a blanket, take a pillow, whatever you can find. You can put that here and go for that stretch. We want the shoulder, however, to be able to expand. So see if you maybe not directly come onto the pillow so that you're pushed up, but your shoulder can come off your head on the pillow and then just drop it. So letting gravity, letting the weight of your body open your back shoulder. And if you want, you can reach your left hand forward or to the side, or you can put it around your back, your lower back, and maybe grab your right thigh. And then you can open up a little bit more, adding a twist to this. I'm just giving options. You don't have to do them all. And then bring your left hand in front of your face, press yourself up and stay neutral spine. So always the option to go into child's pose for 1 or 2 breaths. And then strong right arm. Fingers wide, inhale, reach the left arm up. So you don't want to collapse here. You want to really already find all the length you can. And then bring your left arm under your right. The palm is facing up so that your shoulder is turned inwards. And then bring the weight onto your left shoulder, your left ear. And then you can reach your right arm forward on top of each other, or again, through your back onto your left thigh. So just pay attention to your hips. They want to be part of the game and move to the right, but keep them in the center. And then next exhale, right hand on the floor, left hand joins. Stay into your neutral spine for just a moment. We're going to tuck our toes and we're going to walk our hands back. So we are not going to go sit onto our heels, but we're going to continue walking and stay onto our toes. So we're like a little bonhomme, like this, testing our stability. So if you need something to hold on, whether it's a chair, you can keep your hands on the floor, but then you might be bending over a little bit too much. So we want to see if we can lift our spine, straighten out, maybe place your hands onto your knees. If you feel you're rolling back, just make sure there's nothing that could hurt you in the back. Maybe you have a nice soft carpet and you want to roll back. And then slowly bring your hands back. Stay onto your toes and start to lift your hips now. So you can press your hands down. We're just going to start to lift the hips, and maybe at a certain point your heels are going to touch. My spine is round, my knees are bent, my head is heavy, and I'm just falling forward. So my upper body is heavy, my feet are strong onto the floor. Take a breath in and exhale. Maybe shake your head. Yes, I know, taking advantage of the weight of the head to expand in the neck. And then bend your knees again a little bit more. Coming to a chair position, you can place your hands onto your thighs. Roll the shoulders back. The weight is more into the heels now. So we were into the toes before, now into the heels. And now with the muscles of your legs. So try not to force on the lower back. Press into your feet. Press, 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 and come all the way up. And voila, we're standing. So let's find our mountain pose for now. So you can have your feet slightly separated, or you can have your big toes together, whatever works best for you. And for a moment, lift your toes and see what is the rest of your body telling you as you lift the toes up. So I'm lifting my toes. I feel my kneecaps lifting. I feel my quads activating. And maybe it stops there. So then keep that active in the legs and bring the toes down. So with the legs already active, see if you can gently lift your belly button and feel how your waist is lengthening. Maybe your chest is lifting. Gently roll the shoulders back, lengthening the neck. Take a breath in and a breath out. So this pose is about stability. Finding a stable pose that is not stiff. So we have to wait in line quite a lot these days. So practice your mountain pose. Let's inhale, reach the arms up. Interlace your hands, turn the palms up. Press your feet down, lift your kneecaps, activate the quads, but find now length into the waist. So we're a little bit less concentrating on the core. We want the core to be relaxed for a moment as we're pulling ourselves up and we're pushing our feet down, finding length into your own body. And now bring the arms a little bit more back. Keep your elbows straight if that's possible. And then turn the palms down. So we're still interlaced. Bring the palms together, again, if that's possible. And feel how your shoulders might be closing off your chest. So that's totally natural. We're closing off with our arms. And then bring the hands behind our head where they were before. And this time, open the chest without pushing the belly button forward. So keep that length into the waist, keep that length into the spine, opening the chest. And then from here, lengthen out the arms. We want to feel the length almost from our armpits till the fingertips. So can we do that? We're going to turn the palms up. Shoulder blades are going down. So we move one thing, the rest of our body is responding. So listen. And then turn the palms down and see what happens in the shoulders. So let's roll the shoulders back and roll the shoulders forward. You might even want to put the palms towards the back. So opening up, closing. In your upper back, in your chest, your shoulder blades, things are reacting. And then bring the palms down, lift your fingers, and now really from your armpits till the heel of the hand, push the walls away. Push, push, push. Strong legs, so nothing has changed in our leg, there are support. And then bring the fingertips down. And start to make circles with your wrists, the other side. So this is a very good one to strengthen the muscles in this upper part of our arms. And then bring it down. We're going to do a gentle twist. So bend, I'll come from the side, bend your knees slightly. So we don't want to go into a full chair. We're going to just bend the knees slightly, but the weight is onto our heels. So we don't want to be leaning forward. We want to try to keep our chest, our shoulders, and our hips aligned. Bring your arms to the front, shoulders to the back. Don't push your belly button forward, but bring your tailbone a little bit down. So arms forward, and then bring the left arm onto your left lower back. So the palm is on my left lower back. And I'm going to bring my right hand on my left thigh. And from here, my legs are close to each other. My knees are even touching, so I have more stability. Keeping my chest forward, so I'm not, again, not turning to the side. I'm going to pull on my left leg, and I'm going to start to open up to the side. So gentle twist from the belly button. If you need more stability here, by all means, go to a wall, put that left hand against the wall. Use the wall, or the other thing you can do is coming against the wall and not really leaning onto the wall, but using that wall as your stability with your right hip, and then opening up. And maybe that left shoulder is going to come a little bit closer, but the twist is happening at the height of the belly. Inhale, exhale. And then keep your knees bent. We're going to work a little bit in the legs. Bring the arms forward, roll the shoulders back, Bring the tailbone a little bit down. If you feel that you're compressing into the lower back, right hand goes down and on the lower back, left hand on your right thigh, lengthening the spine. Important to find space and then roll to the right. So we're staying very much in the center with our body. And then slowly coming back and reaching the arms up and exhaling. So let's come to the front of the mat. Bring the hands onto the hips. Always staying in our Tadasana. And then bring the right foot back. So you want to take a big step back. And now just look at your hips. So you can place your hands on your hips and have a look. And you can see if your right hip is really pointing back. Then you're going to walk your left foot a little bit out. And we're going to keep the hands onto our hips. Lift the right foot. Turn your hips. So with the heel lifted, we have a little bit more mobility into the hip. So turn the hips so that they are almost parallel with the short side of your mat. And then press your right foot back down. So you want to push into the back heel for stability. We want to have that strength into the leg we had in our mountain pose. And we want to push on the inside of our front foot. So it's not so much on the outside because then your knee is going to fall out and you're going to lose your balance. So take a breath in, lengthen the spine. Don't watch out not to curve your lower back. So keep it very neutral and then start to bend the front knee. But you keep on pushing into the back leg. So maybe you're going to have to walk your left foot a little bit more forward. Keep that back leg strong. It's your anchor. Inhale, exhale. If you feel that you're compressing in the lower back, bring the tailbone down. It's possible that your right leg is gonna bend because it's a big stretch. So finding that balance, and eventually we'll reach the point where the spine is neutral and the back leg is strong and straight. So continue pressing in the back of your back foot. So the heel, the outside of your back foot, where in the front we're pressing more with the inside of our foot. And then I'm going to leave you the choice to come into your full warrior one, reaching the arms up, finding the length into your body. Again, if you want to find length into your waist, it's a good trick to interlace the hands, turning the palms up, but don't lift your hips. So you want to keep the hips where they are and then lifting, lengthening the waist, maybe wiggling a little bit, but don't lose the strength into your legs. So warrior one, you can separate your hands. You can keep your hands onto your hips or cactus, a cactus warrior. We need all kinds of warriors. So what is your body telling you here? How do you feel? Are you holding somewhere? Most probably we all are holding somewhere, but are you holding somewhere where you could let go? So let's explore. Can I maybe let go a little bit in my belly so I can breathe more easily? What happens if I lengthen out my arms a little bit more? Do I find more stability in my core? And then slowly bring the arms down, lift your back heel, and walk your right foot forward. So warrior one. Bring the hands onto the hips. And this time, big step with the left leg. So we detailed it quite a lot on the right side. We're going to detail it quite a lot on the left side as well. So maybe to start, place your hands onto your hips. And again, you might feel there is a difference, that this side is more to the front or more to the side. Again, everybody's built differently. We're aging differently. And we just have to keep moving, because I think that's the key not just for physical health, but also mental health. So let's keep moving. Front foot solidly planted into the floor, a little bit more weight on the inside of our foot. Lift the back heel. Move your hips. So with your hands, you can really move the hips. And if there's no movement, that's okay. It means that you're at your maximum. And then place the back foot down. Press the back heel down, the outside of the back foot. And then slowly start to bend the front knee. Pressing that back foot, the outside of the back foot into the floor. Keep the hips to the front. And again, I'm talking a lot. I'm giving a lot of clues. So just pick up what you need to pick up today. If we would learn every pose in one day, yoga would be very, very boring. And I'm going to be the first one to say that. So our body changes every day. Our mind is different every day. Our energy is different every day. And the movements might be different every day. And then reach your arms up or wherever you want to have them. So another option would be to open your chest, bring the arms alongside. But again, we want to watch out with that lower back. So what does this pose mean for you? Warrior one. Do you feel like a warrior? Or does your physical body maybe incite you to be a warrior? You feel the strength of your physical body. Even if you're very high into your pose, you feel your physical body supporting your mental body. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Make them glorious, make them deep, long. And then slowly bring the arms down and come back to the front. So this is a very, like we don't move a lot, we don't seem to work a lot, but I think we all feel that we actually doing quite a lot. So let's separate our feet now. If you have a block or if you have a chair, so I'll show it with a chair on the side because it might not be accessible for everybody. And I'll show it with the block or the floor on the front. So we're going to separate our feet. Bring your toes slightly in, just a little bit. So how do we do that? Lift your heels, press them out. And then press the outside of your feet into the floor. But we don't want to bring the outside of our knees away. So you want to stay strong into your ankles. The knees have to stay neutral. Knees are meant to do this movement. They're not so much meant to move to the side. That's why soccer players have a lot of problems with meniscus because they do side kicks sometimes in a very strong and spontaneous way. So from here, hands onto the hips. Again, make sure your lower back is long. Roll the shoulders back, bring the elbows back, open the chest. So very often we automatically are going to lift the tailbone. So make sure the tailbone remains neutral. And then from here, bring the fingers a little bit lower into your groin area and then slowly come forward. So if you're a little bit more stiff into the hamstring, so don't bend your knees. We want to keep the knees long. So if you're a little bit more stiff into the hamstrings, place your hands onto the chair. If you want to go a little bit further, you can place your forearms. You can place your forehead onto the chair, but keep the spine long. So we don't want to go and reach by all means. That's why I give the option with the chair. So if you can go a little bit further, and a chair, a sofa, anything will work. The sink, everything will work. A family member. So lengthen your spine. If you're going deeper, you can place your hands onto the floor or place your hands onto a block, but don't lean into it. Press your hips back. Bring the tailbone down. And then go a little bit further. You might feel an opening on the inside of your thighs. So if you don't need a block, you can place your hands onto the floor. And now we are gonna let go the head, let go the spine. So if you're using the chair and you wanna let go a little bit more, just maybe hold onto another place of the chair. If you need that, hold or place your hands down and then let your spine round. I'm gliding on the carpet here. So drop your head wherever you are. Enjoy the stretch, hopefully. So if you're holding your breath now, because it's too much, come up a little bit. Let's go gradually. So the breath is the voice of your body. When you go too far, it stops. It's always going to continue breathing, but it's going to tell you like, okay, we need to all hands on deck here. I'm going to stop breathing so we can hold this pose. But that's absolutely not the purpose of what we're doing. And then very slowly bring your hands back onto your hips. You can gently bend your knees, but be mindful that they point into the right direction and then come back up. Now heel toe your feet together. If you had a chair, put it back on the side. And we are going to come onto the floor. So 2 ways, your way, just gently coming onto the floor, or you're going to separate your feet as wide as your mat. Your toes are pointing out. And then you can keep your hands onto your hips or bring your hands again forward. And then very slowly starting to bend your knees and coming all the way down. And then place your hands to the back. And I hope you have a strap. If not, it's okay. I'll instruct both with and without straps. So let's go all the way down onto our back. And for a start, bend your knees. Your feet and your hips are in line. So if you look up, your knees should be in line with your hips, and you shouldn't be able to see your ankles if you look to the side. First, we're gonna gently lift the hips just a little bit, and then place your hands onto your bum and push your bum away so that you're on the flat part of your lower back, if that's comfortable. Lengthen your left leg. Bring your right knee in. So I'm first gonna demonstrate without a strap and then with the strap. So from here, start to lengthen your leg. If you don't have a strap, you're gonna place your hands behind your thigh. If your hamstrings are stiff, you might just wanna bring your leg a little bit lower, but watch out that you don't start to curve too much into your lower back. So if you have a strap, place a strap around your foot and then push your heel away from you. Now you want to make sure that your toes are like all 5 toes are parallel with the floor, or if you're lower, so that they're parallel. So don't turn your foot out. You really want to keep that leg straight into the hip socket. So from here, push your foot up. And then press your hip down without pushing your belly button up. So it's that whole hip that's going down, and it's bringing your lower back with it. Nice stretch into the hamstrings. Let's stay here for one more breath. And then bring the strap into your right hand. Open the left arm to the side and slowly start to open up the right leg. So if you feel that your left hip is lifting, you can always place your left hand on it and push it down. If you don't have a strap, the sensation is going to be a little bit different unless you're very flexible and you can grab your big toe and open up like this. But otherwise, you place your right hand on your right knee, your left hand on your left hip, and you open up to the side. So you really open up into the hip here, where if you have the strap, you're opening the hip as well as the inner thigh. So a little bit different sensation, but as good. And then very slowly coming back, taking the strap into the left hand or the left hand on the right knee, open the right arm, and this time we're gonna rotate the right leg over to the left. So there's a rotation happening in the spine. See if you can keep your right shoulder onto the floor. Push your left heel away. So if you don't have a strap, left hand onto your right knee and push your knee down. Your forearm, your upper arm is on the floor from your left arm as a support. So you have that there. And then slowly coming back up, taking the strap away if you have it, lengthen the leg and slowly bring it down. Same thing on the other side. So strap, no strap, no strap. Hand onto your knee, and then bring your hand behind your thighs, and then lengthen your leg. So we want to really try to have that leg as straight as possible. So maybe you're hardly touching your leg. Maybe you just want to hold onto your pants, something. If you have the strap, so you can take a belt or a scarf that doesn't stretch, that works as well. And then slowly starting to open up towards the left. So again, your right arm can go all the way out to the right or onto your top of the right hip. If you don't have a belt, you're pushing your left knee towards the left and your right hand stays on your right hip to bring a bit more balance into your chest when you do this. And then coming back. So if you have the strap, you bring your left leg over to the right. If you don't have the strap, your right hand comes onto your left knee and you rotate, keeping the left shoulder as much as possible to the floor. And then slowly coming back. Bring both knees into the chest so you can put your strap to the side, separate your feet, bring your hands around your feet. So you want to be on the outer side of your feet. If you can't reach your feet, reach your ankles. If you can't reach your ankles, just bring your arms behind your thighs and grab your hands. So opening the hips, keep your lower back onto the floor and then push your feet down. So we have to be careful not to bend into the back neck too much. So lift your head, bring your chin a little bit down. And then from here, bring the soles of the feet together and then bring the outside of the feet on the floor so your knees are pointing out. If you want, you can gently move from side to side. So moving onto your sacrum. If that's comfortable, keeping the distance the same between your knees. So we're just loosening the lower spine. And then it's crazy how time flies. Lengthen out the left leg. Lengthen out the right leg. For a moment, flex your feet and push your toes out. So if you place your hand on the front of your hip, you might feel the hips opening. So there's a lot of work here. It's not relaxation yet. And then just let your feet go. So your hips will have opened up. And then bring the arms not just alongside the body, not in a T, that's too much for your shoulders, but somewhere in between, usually 30, 40 degrees. Press into your head, roll the shoulders back and shoulder blades down. And then your chest will open up. And this might be a little bit too much, so wiggle yourself to a comfortable seated, comfortable lying down Shavasana. So if you are in a colder space, you might want to take a blanket or you might not want to move now. So observe the voice of your body now. When you talk, you're only repeating what you already know. But if you listen, you may learn something new. Without going into deep observation, but staying with curiosity. Feel your body reacting to your practice. Observing from your toes, your feet, your lower legs, your upper legs, observing your hips. Can you release a little bit more into the hips? Observing the fingers, the palm of the hand, the whole hand and the wrist, the forearm, the upper arm. Observe your shoulders and let go. Nothing to hold there now, in this very moment. Let go. Observe your back touching the floor. Allow the floor to give you that comfort to let go. And then let go in the belly and the chest. The throat. The neck. Let go your forehead. Release in the jaw. The skin around your nose. Your tongue. Release. Allow your eyes to have a sensation of maybe looking backwards, sinking into your eye sockets. The eyelids resting onto your eyes, your ears relaxing, your head supported by the floor. So it's your practice, it's your relaxation. I invite you to stay there as long as it's comfortable for you. Continue paying attention to what your body is telling you. Sometimes the mind will be overpowering your body talking. So reconnect with your body at that time through doing a conscious movement. And it can be as simple as a mountain pose when you're in line, or a deep breath. Just stopping doing what you're doing and becoming conscious of the language of your body and your breath. Namaste.